Hey there, folks. Just was giving a few seconds to see who all was going to hop on here. Uh, that's why I say first and foremost, just please keep care over all of this. And I'm sorry, my shirt's kind of dirty because I don't have a different one right now, and I was working out in the barn earlier. So, um, but just keep our country in prayer for all of this that's going on right now. All the stuff that's just kind of going on and kind of the craziness that it's all leading to. So, um, hey, Jason. Hey, Stacy. Um, anyway, I was reading. Sorry, I was reading a devotional earlier today, and it just kind of hit me on the message that it was talking about. And so I just wanted to go over kind of what I've seen. And I know I've kind of touched on this before, but it's about forgiveness. And one of the places I was talking about was Second Timothy. Hey, Robert. Um, 2 Timothy 4, verse 16. And this is Paul talking towards the end of his letter, his second letter to Timothy. And he gives kind of a repetitive thing here as far as forgiveness goes, and what I'll show in a couple other verses. But 2 Timothy 4:16 says, "At my first offense, no one supported me, but all deserted me. May it not be counted against them." And so Paul says, he's praying, he's giving this word to Timothy, and he says, may what they did to me, now, even though they hurt me, even though they deserted me, let it not be counted against them. In other words, Paul was willing to forgive these people who he trusted. He was willing to forgive them. Even though they had hurt him in such a way as just deserting him and leaving him right where he was at in a time of just turmoil and trouble. And then the other place I was wanting to talk about is Acts 7. Acts 7, verse 60. Come on. All right. Acts 7, verse 60. And this is Stephen, whenever he is martyred for his stance on the faith of Christ. And Stephen says, then falling on his knees, he cried out with a loud voice, "Lord, do not hold this sin against them." Having said this, he fell asleep. So even Stephen, in the midst of these men, because they don't want to believe as he believes, are just continually hitting him, throwing these large stones at him, hit him in the head and other parts of his body, and he's dying. And he actually prays a very quick prayer. And he says, "Lord, do not hold this sin against them." So we have Paul that says, even though these people have hurt me and they've done this wrong to me, I hope this doesn't get held against them. Stephen says the same thing and says before Paul and says, even though these people are killing me for my faith, are taking my life, please, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. And whenever we think about this, I mean, this is one of the greatest messages that we could have. Because this message comes from the greatest teacher we could ever have. Because it's hard to think about forgiving somebody even though they hurt you. It's hard to think about what you have to ask of God just because somebody has hurt you and deserted you and done some things against you. But it's that aspect of forgiving, unconditional forgiveness, that was given to us from the stance of Christ himself. Because Stephen wouldn't have had this mindset if it wasn't for Christ. Paul wouldn't have had this mindset if it wasn't for Christ. And so now I go to Luke 23, verse 24. Chapter 23, verse 34 in Luke. And this is Jesus on the cross. But Jesus was saying, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. This is Jesus asking for forgiveness of those who have betrayed him, those who have hurt him, those who have punished him for no reason, those who have mocked him, those who have mistreated him, those who have not believed in his message or what he's doing. He's asking forgiveness for the Pharisees, for the scribes, for the Roman soldiers, for Pilate. He's asking for forgiveness of those who are killing him. And even those who have deserted him, like Peter and the other disciples, except for John, the Apostle John. And so even though it can be really hard, it can be really tough to be able to think about forgiveness. Hey, Stephanie. It means that much more when we're able to truly forgive somebody for something. Especially when we don't think they deserve it or they haven't said they were sorry. But it means that we hold a forgiveness in our hearts, especially from the forgiveness that God has given us. That's a good way to look at it, Jason. Jason on YouTube channel said Luke 24 or Luke 23:34 is a scripture that spoke to me to forgive my wife. It was a powerful and humbling experience for me. So, and it hit me today to read the words of Paul about forgiving those who had done him wrong. He even was looking to forgive even those who were executing him, when in all actuality he hadn't done anything wrong. He was a martyr himself. And anybody who does right, as Peter wrote in chapter 3 and chapter 4, I believe it was 1 Peter, Chapter 3, verse 13, who is there to harm you if you prove zealous for what is good? But even if you should suffer for the sake of righteousness, you are blessed. And then in chapter 4, verse 12, beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal among you, which comes upon you for your testing as though some strange thing have happened, but to the degree that you suffer the sufferings of Christ, keep on rejoicing, so that also at the revelation of his glory you may rejoice with exultation. And so it's about forgiving even in the midst of suffering. It's about truly looking at what God has done for you and in you and through you, that you can pass on to others. So, excuse me. I don't know why I get into these yawning fits whenever I get on here, but anyway, so I just wanted to come on tonight and with this quick word and this quick message. And, like I said, it's 2 Timothy 4:16, Acts 7:60, and Luke 23:34 are the verses. And so I would encourage you to read those and read over them, and truly think about the actual forgiveness that we are to demonstrate. It's sometimes harder than we like. Sometimes takes a lot more in us than what we would like to have to give. And so to me, it's important. And I believe it should be important to anybody who says they're a follower of Christ and a believer of and a child of God. So I just want to say, though, also that please be safe. And I know this virus stuff is hitting a lot of people in a lot of different places. It's affecting churches. It's affecting a lot of different things right now. And so it's really a matter of looking at what we're doing and how we're doing it, trying to be safe about things, trying to make sure that you do things in the best way possible for yourself and for your household. So and like I said, just keep this country and everything into prayer about all of this. So yeah, Stephanie, I'm tired of the news also, but a lot of it is I catch the updates about different things, and that's what I just try to pay attention to more than anything. So, anyway, like I said, I just wanted to come on here real quick. I didn't plan on being on here very long, but I thank you. I thank all of you who come on here and listen to me and just been a part of this. So I appreciate it, and may God just bless you the rest of the night and every day forward, and may you just be safe and hopefully not have to worry about any more of this than just what you hear. So thank you all. We'll talk to you later.